This will not be the first time Are Babalola has written to the relevant authorities to withdraw Dele Farotimi's license to practice law in Nigeria. As he explains in this interview with Shehu of Channels TV how he did it the first time and how he fought back, let's take a listen.
In writing the letter that he wrote to the then Chief Justice of Lagos State, Ayomide Philip, he libeled me. He suggested that I should be derobed, that what I had done was deserving of sanction, and I should have been struck off the bar. And when I saw this, knowing what I already knew of what he did, I wrote a letter asking that he should withdraw that letter that he had written that was libelous of me. And he declined. Arrogantly so, he declined. And I sued him for libel.
Having won the first time, now he's doing it again. The 90-page petition was submitted to the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee by a partner to Are Babalola's law firm by name Ola Faro. They are claiming that Dele Farotimi criminally defamed them and their law firm in his book Nigeria and its Criminal Justice System, that he was engaged in unethical conduct unbecoming of a lawyer. As such, he should be stopped from practicing law in Nigeria. Part of the petition reads, quote, "The respondent participated in conduct that he believes to be unlawful by bribing judicial officers and having unlawful access to a judicial officer. He joined his clients in committing misconduct and breach of law with reference to judicial officers by having unlawful access to a judicial officer. He gave service to his client, which he knows is capable of causing a breach of law and disrespect and corrupting a judicial officer. Knowingly made false statements of law and facts in respect to a case already decided by the Supreme Court. Assisted his clients in a conduct that he knows to be illegal and fraudulent. Failed to observe good faith and fairness in dealing with other lawyers in respect to a case already decided by the Supreme Court. Conducted himself in a manner that obstructed, delayed, and adversely affected the administration of justice by taking steps to frustrate a decision of the Supreme Court for his personal benefit and benefit of his client who lost at the Supreme Court. Knowingly engaged in illegal conduct in the course of his practice as a legal practitioner. Treated his fellow lawyers without respect, fairness, consideration, and dignity, allowing ill feeling between opposing clients to influence his conduct and demeanor by distorting the facts of a case in the course of his practice as a legal practitioner. Treated the court, particularly the Supreme Court, without respect, dignity, and honor by his uncouth, unprofessional, undignified, and an offensive language against the Supreme Court and the justices of the Supreme Court. Made defamatory statements against judicial officers rather than making a complaint to appropriate authorities. Indicated that he discussed a pending case with a judge trying the case in the absence of an opposing lawyer." Unquote. They are really fighting very hard against Dele Farotimi. They are targeting his finances, his reputation, his very existence. Although it's been long he stopped practicing law, but he's still a member of the bar. He worked hard for it. To deny him that membership seems very odd. Not all lawyers are practicing lawyers. Not all of them take briefs from clients to represent them in court, but they are still members of the bar. And to think that someone would, in the wildest imagination, want to deny them that right tells you all you need to know about how hard they are fighting Dele Farotimi. They want to delegitimize him by all means. If he stops being a lawyer, if he loses his license, they will start making references to him as if he is a common criminal. One of his greatest cover today is that NBA is backing him. He's their member. So if he has problems, even legal representation, they will provide one for him. He will lose all that if he stops being a licensed lawyer in Nigeria. So you can understand how hard and the angle they are coming from. This resonates in the way they conducted the affairs so far, the way they used the police to abduct him all the way from Lagos to Ekiti State, handcuffed him while going to court and all that. You can only do that to a common criminal. But Dele Farotimi right now is still innocent until proven guilty of criminal defamation, cyber crimes, or anything they want to charge him. Now, this brings us to the court cases they filed against Dele Farotimi and the way they are playing out. Dele Farotimi actually wrote this in his book, something like Justice for the Rich and Judgment for the Poor in Nigeria's judicial system. So they are not interested in following up the civil defamation suits they filed. They are only interested in the motions and injunctions they get from the courts, like the one they filed in Abuja High Court. After filing, they immediately got an injunction from the court. That injunction ordered the DSS and the police to confiscate all the books, all Dele Farotimi's books, from many bookstores in Nigeria. Also, they have to remit the royalties to them instead of Dele Farotimi. Of course, all the money made from the book, he has already donated it to a charity home. But this injunction strictly orders them to remit the money to Babalola's law firm. Like already said, they are not interested in following up the case. They will abandon the civil defamation suit. They are only interested in the motion. Just like the police arrest people, take them to court, the charges they file against the people are just to detain them. Like they filed criminal defamation against Dele Farotimi, a law that no longer exists in Ekiti State. The magistrate court doesn't have jurisdiction. Despite all this, they accepted the case, remanded him in prison. So the essence of charging him to the magistrate court is just to detain him. Let people understand this. And the essence of filing the Abuja High Court civil defamation suit is just to obtain the motions and injunctions, seizing his assets and his money. People need to realize what is going on here. You can be sleeping quietly in your home, minding your business, and someone will go to court, present affidavits, present all sorts of documents, whether they are forged or not. The court wouldn't even verify them, and they will ask for a motion seizing your asset or an injunction, something like that. And the court will grant it without even calling you, inviting you to hear from you. This is very, very dangerous, and it is playing out the way Dele Farotimi wrote it in the book. They will bring someone, you will not even ask question. What did this person do? What are you actually charging him for? They don't demand all this. Once they are told we are bringing this person, they will just hit the gavel and condemn the person. That's why Nigerian prisons are filled with awaiting trial inmates, much higher than condemned criminals. And some of these inmates are actually innocent. The police will just pick some of them up in the streets. People minding their business or going home from work, police will pick them up, take them to their station and detain them, expecting that they will pay enough bail money to be able to secure their bail. When they fail to do that, the police sometimes charge them to court. They will just come up with any crime and charge them. That will be the end. For the fact that the people couldn't pay for their liberty, they will end up in prison. And when the adjourned date comes and they don't have a legal representative, that's how people spend years in prison in Nigeria for no reason, for a crime they didn't commit. So this is prevalent. It's not as if Dele Farotimi is making this up. It happens. Nigerians are aware that it happens. It's just that he mentioned Babalola's name and other lawyers. They are now saying, no, I have to defend myself. Okay, if you have to defend yourself, why not allow the court process to go on? Why not allow the civil defamation case to go on so that Dele Farotimi can defend himself, so that he can bring that evidence that he has that made him to write it in a book? Yes, he has already said it many times that no one should come and beg on his behalf. If people, all the principalities like he likes to call it, if they come for him, that no one should beg on his behalf, that he will defend them. He still trusts the judiciary. So the question remains, why don't they want the court process to play out so that he can tender the evidence for all the people saying that Dele must prove all his allegations? Why are the courts and the people involved not giving him the opportunity to defend himself, to prove all his allegations, to prove that he never defamed anyone? Anyway, we know what they are doing. They are trying to silence him. They are trying to silence him while claiming that they were defamed. If you were truly defamed, why not allow the courts to decide whether it is truly defamation? Now, let's end with the warning by NBA president to the Nigerian government to stop bribing and humiliating judicial officers, that all projects donated to the judiciary by the executive branch should not happen in a normal society, that if they have projects they want to execute, everything must be added in the national budget, and when the budget is passed, the judicial branch will execute their own projects by themselves, not executive branch executing projects and donating it to the judicial officers as if they are under them. This is open bribery. Let's take a listen.
In any situation where a governor gathers judges or brings a chief judge or any person whatsoever to display to the public that he's giving them cars as if he's doing them a favor, as if he's being very magnanimous and generous in giving them cars, it is condemnable. That is building courtrooms or quarters for them. It is unconstitutional, is demeaning, and it takes away from the independence of the judiciary. If the judiciary needs cars, if the judiciary needs houses for the judicial officers, if they need courtrooms, if they need anything, it should be put in the budget of the judiciary, and the judiciary should be able to manage the budget meant for them and acquire those things. No member of the executive should do that for them.